guys, today we're going to do a overall breakdown and somewhat of a partial review of all of my airsoft guns in my collection. I've done a video prior where I did cover this as well as all of my air guns. However, I decided that I want to do airsoft only this time since my air gun collection hasn't really changed, but my airsoft gun collection has changed drastically. So if you want to see the air guns, go back to the old video. But without further ado, let's get into the airsoft guns. Starting with this guy. This is my 14.5 LPVO setup. And I really like this gun due to it's accurate and it's great out of the box, especially considering this thing is bone stock internally, and this is a SEMA Platinum M4. The SEMA Platinum line is actually very great. I have 3 SEMA Platinums, and that makes up 3 out of 4 of my airsoft rifles. And you really can't go wrong. Easily upgradable, but still great stock, coming with a MOSFET. Not the best MOSFETs, however, I've had an old MOSFET in my other gun, which lasted about a year. It didn't even break. I just swapped it out for a gate aster because I wanted to. So they come with MOSFETs, plus they're wired to DINs and rated for 11.1 volt LiPos. They're also going to have reinforced internals with a better inner barrel, hop up, all that good stuff. And I believe it has a better motor too. And for $350 for this gun, you can't really beat it. In terms of aftermarket mods, externally, I have a Magpul CTR stock, extremely great stock. I think my favorite AR buffer tube stock. It's lightweight, slim, really helps you get on the rifle without being too, large, or without feeling like there's not enough stock. And you can always add cheek riser if you want to get higher up on the gun, but it really is nice. Next up, we have a Novridge LPVO. This I got for about $100 from Novridge. Very nice. If you're gonna get LPVO, I'd recommend this one. What I like about it is it has 1 to 4x zoom, which is ideal for airsoft. I usually keep it around 2.5. And it's extremely clear glass image. Very smooth and satisfying. To change zoom, you simply twist this knob right here. Super smooth. It has Picatinny rail segments on the top for maybe a piggyback red dot or a Novridge scope cam, which I may get in the future to record gameplay with. And on the outside, I just have a kill flash, as you can see right here, which is really nice just for protecting it. They claim it's BB proof, but I wanted a kill flash just to protect it a little more. Plus, it also helps with glare, which can be a factor sometimes. Next up, I have this light on this angled mount, which you can actually change the angle. But I have it set up right now to be as tucked away as possible to keep this gun very slim and low profile. It's a very bright light with great range. I got it off e-bike for about somewhere around maybe $65, and it's one of my favorites. One of my favorite lights I have, probably my favorite light I own. It's an M600 clone just like the rest, but this particular one, extremely nice. Next up, I have a Night Evolution pressure pad. Honestly, I would get the Amazon ones over the Night Evolution ones. This is because this one is it's stiffer, feels higher quality, but it's harder to press, which is pretty annoying. So I'd go with the Amazon ones if I'm being honest, and the Amazon ones are more affordable. Nevertheless though, it still works. Next up on the outside, or on the muzzle I should say, we have a EMG Guardian mock suppressor. I didn't put a tracer in because this gun won't really be used for indoor play. So I think this just adds a cool aesthetic, and it gives this gun a really mean pop sound when it's firing, just because the suppressor is totally open on the back or on the front. The main reason I got this gun was to be an all-around build for outdoor play, and it does that really well. It can do close range reasonably well, and it can do long range really good. And I just love the look of the dual tone coloring with the Dana Defense RIS 3 handguard. It's also extremely sturdy. I have 100% faith in this handguard. The only thing I didn't like out of the box that I swapped was the stock and pistol grip that came with these terrible Dana Defense stock and pistol grip. They're uncomfortable, ugly, just awkward to use. Another feature I really like is these integrated QD sling points, which are extremely comfortable or extremely nice placement for putting a sling. So putting one here and then a sling and the QD point in the back, and you really have a good setup. Overall, I would highly recommend this gun. Extremely practical, very cool looking in my opinion, and it's a great buy, especially if you're starting out, but you have a little bit of a higher budget. SEMA Platinum is probably definitely the way to go. So let's go on to the next replica. Next up, we have my only pistol, and that is an Elite Force Glock 45. What I really like about this gun is it is compact, relatively lightweight for what it is, and very reliable. Definitely, I don't think it has what it takes to be a primary pistol. However, as a secondary, it's very nice. I love the Gen 5 Glock features that it has, that being with the iron sights having the 3 dots rather than the classic U in the back and a dot in the front. I like the pronounced mag release. Easy to release the mags, but still never accidentally released one. I also like the stippling on the grip without having the finger grooves anymore. I think that's very nice. As well as the front slide serrations. Make it much easier to grab from both the rear and the front. In terms of what I've done to this gun, I've given it an aftermarket inner barrel, help with accuracy a little bit, as well as an aftermarket outer barrel, which gives me threads so I can mount a flashlight if I so choose. I also have an X300 light, replica X300 light on the bottom, which is super nice, very bright, compact, and just makes the gun feel super nice. And a light is very important, especially if you're gonna do indoor. You're gonna want that light, trust me. Overall, pretty good trigger pull, reliable, and honestly, if you're gonna get a pistol, the Elite Force Glocks are not a bad way to go. Previously, I owned an FNX 45 Tactical. However, it had so many issues, I got rid of it. It was just unreliable, not accurate, and also very gas inefficient. I did get it used on hop-up, which is definitely my mistake. So don't buy guns used on hop-up unless you're really sure that they're good, because you could end up like me. And this gun is empty. So let's see. Slide locks back. No round in the chamber. Can't really tell, but I'm gonna confirm there's no round in the chamber. And there's no BBs in the mag. There is gas in the gun, however, so let's dry fire this thing. Super snappy. Nice lockback. Overall, great pistol. Next up, let's go to the next gun in my collection. Next up, we have something a little bit old school. This is my Classic Army XM177E2 that I have built out to be a sort of Blood Diamond inspired setup. What I really like about this gun, it's wired to Deans. It feels good, it shoots pretty good. Definitely on the lower end of my replicas, but still not a bad replica at all. Only complaint is this thing, I cannot find a magazine that feeds with it reliably. So I think I need to get the Classic Army metal stand ags, I think what I'm gonna go with. If anyone has one of these guns, let me know in the comments what you use with it, because my PTS mags don't work. My cheap stand ags don't really work. I have another 200 round mid cap that doesn't work. I have a tan 200 round mid cap, which does work, but still shoots great. You just gotta hold the mag in. So if I can figure out a mag that feeds with it reliably, I can put it in the comments, and you can use that if you're ever gonna think about getting this gun. In terms of what I've done to it, very minimal changes. I changed out the flash or the moderator for this one. It looks identical. It's just this one doesn't have a painted on orange tip, because the orange tip is super ugly, obviously. Next up, I have this light. I actually already had this light previously. I didn't buy it for this build, but it looks so much like a Surefire 660. I figured I would just use it. This is integrated with a clamp to the barrel mount. which is very nice. Keeps that really cool look. Next up, I have a Picatinny rail on top of the carrying handle, and on that I have a replica comp aim point. It would have been typical at the time and seen in the movie. I have a kill flash on that aim point, which just helps protect it from BBs. Overall, I really like this build. It looks really cool, and it runs pretty good. Only issue is I don't like that it's front wired, and I know it's nice maybe if you want to use bigger batteries, but I think I want to swap it to being wired to the stock, get some kind of rubber cover for this, and then get a gate aster and swap the buffer tube to have it rear wired to the back with 11.1s, because this gun does not run with 11.1 stock. You need to use 7.4s. So keep that in mind if you're going to get this replica. Overall though, still a good choice. And if you're going for that classic look, I would recommend it. I also want to get an M16A1 one of these days, but maybe in the future. So let's go on to the next replica in my collection. Next up, we have a SEMA Platinum AKM, which you can see right here. One of my favorite builds. This thing just looks awesome. It's a great gun. Has all the SEMA Platinum upgrades you're going to want. And it's definitely one of the better options you're going to get if you're going to go with the Zenit Co. AK. You can always go with LCT, but you're going to have to do a lot of internal upgrades. However, granted, the LCTs do have the best externals. So just keep that in mind. So let's go over this build. I didn't build this off anything in particular. However, definitely takes elements from Tarkov. So let's see what I got here. Starting in the rear, it came with a PT1 stock. Very nice. It's a solid stock. The most customizability I've ever seen in a stock, featuring a rising and lowering cheek rest, a shoulder pad that you can adjust the height of as well. You can adjust the length a ton. It can get as long as this long. You know, it can get a lot shorter. And it also folds. However, it does not lock into place, which is pretty disappointing, if I'm being honest, but I might just jerry rig it in a way in which it can, because it makes the 16-inch barrel a lot more manageable with no stock. Next up, I have a replica EOTech on here. I like this replica because it looks cool, but it really isn't a great replica EOTech. And they're honestly overpriced. I wouldn't go with replica EOTechs. Maybe a Holy Warrior Harder is decent. I have never owned one myself, so tread lightly, I guess. However, it does complete the look, and I'm not even using batteries in this. I'm just running it, batteries, keep it weight down a little bit, and I just BB aim with this particular replica because it works great to BB aim with. Next up, I have on, well, actually, these mags are pretty cool. It was very hard to find 7.62 AK mags that were not metal, and I found these. These are technically AR-47 mags, but they're just AK mags for 7.62 guns, and they have that great curve. It looks like a Magpul AK mag, and textured, comfortable, 200 round capacity, which is very nice. Just keep in mind these are stiff. The springs are stiff out of the box, so you don't want to break those in a little bit. But they work great, and they're SEMA mags, so they're going to fit in my SEMA AK beautifully. This thing is very satisfying to reload. Next up, I haven't added this, but it came with this, which is very nice, which is a AK improved safety. That just means it has this extra tab, so rather than swapping the safety with all your fingers like that, you can just use your index finger, like so. On the front, it has this amazing handguard. I think it's called the B30, is what it's based off. It looks really cool. It's super solid, and it gives you a ton of rail space. Over here, I have a metal or aluminum RK6 chopped grip right here. I like this grip because it looks very cool. It completes that Russian look, but also, since it's chopped here, it gives more clearance when you're removing mags than just a solid straight grip. Next up, I have this replica Surefire M600, which is very cool. It's bright, just a great light, same as on all my other replicas except the XM and the Glock. Super nice light. Would highly recommend. Amazon, 25 bucks. I would get it if I were you. Once again, with the same pressure pad. This is the Amazon pressure pad, however, it's cheaper and it's honestly better. Would really recommend that. Over here I have a replica EOTech OGL, which is a very nice replica laser. It's super bright, has a good beam. You're not gonna be able to see the beam during the daytime, but trust me, it's awesome. And it's also blue, which is pretty unique for a laser. So I really like that. It's kind of an indigo purpley blue, which I think is really cool. A lot different than those red and greens you're gonna see most commonly. Moving on to the very end, I have a LCT DTK2 muzzle brake. I think it really completes that AK look, that Zeniko AK look. It's stubby, it looks mean, aggressive, very, you can see how the gases would be directed if this was real, which is very cool. And I would say one recommendation I would make to modify this thing, it's super simple mod. Just see this cleaning rod here. Don't use it for cleaning or unjamming, just it's metal, I wouldn't. But as you can see, it has some felt tape on it that I added. That is because it is very rattly out of the box. So just throw on some electrical tape, some felt tape, and it'll help a lot with the sound dampening. I also swapped the pistol grip to this Magpul looking style one from the ARC. I don't remember what they're called, but this pistol grip it came with was absolutely atrocious. It had these terrible finger grooves. It was like literally this thick, an actual rectangle. It hurt to grab. So do yourself a favor and swap this if your hands aren't massive. Another thing that I've added is a gate aster, and the issue with this MOSFET came very bad out of the box. I should have sent it back to Evac, but I didn't, which is honestly fine because I just swapped it for a gate aster anyways. I actually got 2 faulty asters in the mail, or at my shop, which no fault to my shop. It's Gate's fault, but super annoying, honestly. 3rd time's the charm though. It was covered under warranty, so it's okay. And these are wired to the dust cover, which you can see right here. Which is annoying because you're not go it close. Come on. Hold up, that's weird. Which is a little bit annoying. That's wired to the dust cover because you can't actually really get there we go. Hopefully I didn't chop any wires there. But it's because you can't really get too many batteries in there, but I understand it's your best bet, especially when you're not running a full stock like this style. And under the handguard is just not going to work out. So I get it. But yeah, overall I'd recommend this replica to anyone who's looking for that modern AK style, but still wants good internals without spending a ton of money on an LCT. It's still expensive replica. Don't remember how much exactly, but still, great gun. Would highly recommend. And they also have an AK-74 if you're looking for that slimmer 74 style, as well as I believe they have a 74U if you're looking for more of a compact, maybe CQB oriented platform or gun. So yeah, that's the Zeniko AKM. Let's move on to the last replica in my collection. So last but certainly not least, we have my SEMA Platinum M4. This is the gun that I use most of the time. 10.5 inch barrel. Very nice gun. So let's get into the build. Internally, I have given it a maple leaf bucking and a gate aster, which is really gonna help with fire rate and trigger sensitivity, and it's also gonna protect the internals. Would highly recommend the SEMA Platinums putting in a gate aster. It's gonna help you a lot. Externally, we have the stock here. Magpul CTR stock. I already mentioned why I liked it in the previous SEMA Platinum and in the Daniel Defense gun. E&G Delta pistol grip. Very nice. It's slim, has a very aggressive downward angle, which makes this gun nice to present. Comfortable to hold with a shorter stock. So your wrist isn't at that, ridiculous angle up there. It keeps it more vertical. Quantum trigger, which goes along with the gate aster. Extremely nice trigger. Super light and sensitive trigger pull. And Evike sells the quantum trigger with the gate aster, so I would highly recommend getting the pack together. Next up, I am running a Vulcan red dot. It's a cheap red dot, if I'm being honest, $40 maybe. It's a great red dot though. It's plastic, but It has served me well for well over a year now. And I also have it on this cool riser, which is angled forward, which I really think completes that look of this, slim. As you can see, it's a very slim rifle. Very aggressive look, and I think that really helps with the angles on this gun. Next up in the front, to give you a really secure grip, I have this Magpul hand stop, as well as these Magpul stippling right here. This really just gets you super comfortable on the gun. I do like that a lot. And it also looks awesome. Once again, QD sling points. However, I actually have a different outer barrel in this because I stripped the threads when I was taking off the orange tip, because it's one of my first replicas. I didn't really know what I was doing. So it's too thick now to fit the QD slings, but not the end of the world. Also, I'm running on a 45-degree M-locked Picatinny mount. As you can see here, I'm running a Surefire M600 replica. This I got from Novrich. I wouldn't get the Novrich one, honestly. They make good products, but the light is just not worth the extra money. But still, it's a great light. It's bright, efficient, it works great. I love it. It also has one thing I do like about it. There's no branding on this light, which I think is nice. On the end, I have a mock suppressor. I like the way it looks. It doesn't add anything except a cool pop noise. And it looks awesome. But I think I want to put a BDE mock suppressor unit with the integrated tracer they have. I think it'd be very cool. And it would just make this thing very good for indoor play. Forgot to mention this previously, but at least on the M4 SEMA Platinums, they have the QBS systems, which stands for Quick Buffer System. That means that all you have to do to swap your spring to a lower FPS or higher FPS would be take a castle nut wrench, loosen this up, then take a Phillips screwdriver, or preferably a hex key, and loosen up the internal piece, and your spring pops right out, which makes this super nice for indoor play because you can just quickly swap your spring, which is usually a pain in the butt, but with this system, it takes sub 5 minutes. So yeah, really, I would highly recommend this gun. If you're gonna start off, I would recommend a SEMA Platinum. This gun was about $300, which is honestly a great price. And considering what you're getting, I mean, I ran this gun stock for over a year and it worked flawlessly. The only thing I've changed is the bucking and MOSFET, and you don't even need to do that. The MOSFETs I heard can burn out, but I've had no experience with these MOSFETs failing on me, except on the AK, but I think I was shipped a dud. So yeah, that's essentially all of the airsoft guns in my collection. I've slimmed down my collection a little bit since it was previously, but I got rid of the cheaper replicas like the Vulcan. I wasn't using it. There's no point in having it. Plus my old SEMA AK-74, didn't feel like putting the money in to upgrade it, and I wanted a better AK, so I went with the Zenitco one. So I've decided to slim down the collection to some smaller or some higher quality but less guns, which I think is really going to improve my playing experience. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I really do appreciate it, and let me know in the comments any criticism, any feedback you have, anything you didn't like, anything you liked, because it really just lets me know what to do next. I think I want to make a review of each of these guns individually as well, so let me know if you want to see that. And I also recently got a GoPro, which I can actually show right here. It's a Hero 13. I have two GoPros actually. GoPro Hero 13. I think this is a 5. And I think I want to start recording gameplay footage. And I'm actually going to play some indoor tomorrow. So I think I'll upload that. So let me know what you guys think about me recording gameplay. I have a chest mount as well as a NVG helmet mount for a GoPro. So I should be able to record pretty well. I mean, it should be interesting to watch, I think. So yeah, that's the video, guys. I really appreciate you for sticking around to the end if you did. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.